Hi everyone, and welcome to Inside AWAI. This month's session is how to make good money freelance writing, and it's our blueprint that basically lays it out in 9 easy steps. My name is Rebecca Matter. We realize that there are a lot of new people on this webinar today who are not familiar with the AWAI audience or the AWAI world, so that's me. My name is Rebecca Matter. I'm the president of American Writers and Artists, Inc., also known as AWAI. I've been with the company almost 15 years. And for over 20 now, we have been helping writers make a great living through writing. I'm also joined by Pam Foster. Hi, Pam.
Hi there.
She's our Director of Copywriting Training and actually was an AWAI member over a decade ago. She found one of our programs, she went through it, came to one of our live events, she became a successful copywriter in her own right, and a few years ago, we approached her to come and help us to create our training programs and be part of our world, knowing that she came from our membership, and who better to help us help the next generation of writers than somebody who had already just been there, who had been through the process and been successful. So we're so excited to have her on the team. So together we're going to lay out these 9 steps. This is a very proven plan. The reason we developed this webinar is to make sure that when you're going into the world of well-paid writing or freelance writing or whatever you want to refer to it, that you really understand the steps that you need to take to be successful. So really, what is the opportunity? What are the steps to give you an action plan to follow through so you are, in fact, successful? But really, we have one goal, in addition to being, presenting you with this blueprint, is to ensure that you have a clear understanding of each of the steps that you're going to take to make good money writing. There is a way that you can set yourself up right out of the gate so that you're not having to figure it out along the way, or, oh, I didn't realize that was a step, or that you're taking the steps in the right order, knowing what the steps entail. But really, we want to get you to what we call the writer's life. If you've never been around AWAI before, that's the writer's life. That's the goal, our goal for you, and hopefully your goal too. It can be anything. The writer's life, is whatever you define your best life as. So whether that is freelance writing for 20 hours a week, whether that's working in the mountains, whether that's staying home with your kids, whether that's working for a company as a copywriter, whatever the opportunity is for you, we want to help you get there, and writing is the way to get there. You can make writing into anything that you want, no matter how much money you want to make, no matter how much little money you want to make. If time is more important to you, you can really create the life of your dreams with writing. So that's what we're hoping to give you today, is this blueprint to get you there. So now that we are all on the same page, we're going to go ahead and jump into this first step, which is probably the most important step, and that's really understanding what this opportunity is. When we say paid writing, when we say well-paid writing, when we say freelance writing, making a living as a writer, it's a huge opportunity, and most writers, at least ones that we meet at first, don't really understand just how big it is. So Pam, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you jump in so you can get us started.
All righty. So basically, writing, when you're looking at making money writing, you may think, well, gosh, I'd love to write poetry, I'd love to write articles for magazines or my famous novel, but that's not what we're talking about here, because we're talking about writing that's related to business or commerce. And that's where the biggest opportunity is, because I'm going to walk you through why, but you'll see in a moment how important writing is to any kind of commerce. So what we mean by that is wherever people are exchanging money for goods or services, the businesses selling those goods or services need to explain to their prospective customers what the product or service is, how it solves a customer problem, need, or wish, and I'm going to show you examples of this, how the product works or the service works, why it's the best solution out there from all the options that a prospective buyer might have, and why it offers the best value, and then how much it costs and how to order it. I can't imagine buying anything without knowing at least some or all of those informational facts. Even if you're going into a retail store, you're going to look around and look at products, think about what you want to buy, look at it and decide, okay, what does it do for me, or what is the reason I'd want it? Well, even on a bottle of Russian salad dressing. It will say Russian salad dressing, use this for, da, da, da. You know, there are words involved in any kind of sale. So basically, there are two main types that in the marketing world we call B2C or B2B. So the first one is B2C, business to consumer, and that is where companies are selling directly to consumers who will use the products or services, such as financial products or banks. You know, a consumer will go to the bank and open a checking account, and they have a lot of banks to choose from. So which one are they going to choose for their checking account? Banks have to fight, you know, competitively to get attention and show that they're the best bank for that consumer. Health products, for example, over-the-counter cough medicine, that's a direct-to-consumer product. Retail is a no-brainer because you and I go get groceries, clothing, whatever we need, retail, we go to the store, we buy it, and that's basic business to consumer B2C commerce. Education, if you have someone in your house who's going to college, or you are, think of all the universities and colleges just in the US who are all competing to reach their consumers, which would be the student who's going to be paying the bills and going to school. Then you have sports. So my favorite team is the Red Sox. Go Red Sox. I'm from New England. If I want to go to Fenway Park and go to a game, I have to get tickets. I have to buy the hot dogs, Fenway Franks. I have to have maybe a drink, maybe a T-shirt. Those are all being sold to me, the consumer. Same thing with baby products. Think of if you're a new mom or you know a new mom. Oh my God, you could fill a whole house with the products that they buy, from cribs to bottles to blankets to toys, just on and on. Those are all direct-to-consumer products. Food and wine, same thing. We all buy food and wine, and we all pretty much have cars and have to buy a car and buy products to keep our car running. So those are business-to-consumer examples, B2C. The second main category is B2B, or business-to-business. And this category can be confusing to people, but just think of it as wherever you go to buy something, someone had to supply all the goods and services for that store to run itself. So the store signs, the shelving that the stores, the products are sitting on, maybe even the computer system that they use to cash you out when you go to the cash register. Just everything that helps a business run itself is called the B2B world. So it could be software, it could be manufacturing companies that make the parts to washing machines, for example, store displays, like I said, human resources systems. So of course, you know, all these companies need to run their businesses and run staffing and manage training and all that stuff. That there are companies that supply all the training and management tools for that. Shipping companies, of course, have to get products to the stores or to the ball field. For example, if I'm going to buy a bunch of stuff at Fenway Park, somebody had to get that stuff to Fenway Park to sell. Then there's training programs for business professionals. Safety is a huge issue in the manufacturing and business world. So there are safety consultants, there are safety products. Those are going not to the consumer, but to the business that has to operate. And finally, business construction. You know, construction obviously does sell direct to the consumer if you're building your own home and you need contractors and equipment and tools and all that stuff. But then there's the whole commercial side where they're building commercial buildings and renovating and all of that. So hopefully that's really clear on the difference between direct-to-consumer, or B2C, and direct-to-businesses to help them run B2B. And now here's something interesting too. You may come across a company that does both, B2C and B2B. And I just came up with these examples kind of ad hoc just to give you some idea of what I mean. So let's say you want to buy a fish tank for your home, and you want to get some fish and some cool little things inside the tank that make the fish happy. That would all be direct to consumer because you're going to buy it for your home personal use. But then you go to dinner with your family to a seafood restaurant, and you walk in the door, and there's a beautiful big fish tank with gorgeous tropical fish floating around. Well, that is a business. The restaurant has that fish tank as part of its appeal to customers. So that's B2B. Yeti coolers is another example. So we might buy that for our own pleasure while we're boating or going camping or fishing or any of that stuff. And then professional lobstermen may use the coolers to store their catch. Or, I mean, that's just a real general example, but I'm trying to give you a very clear sense of the difference between the two. And then sometimes companies like a Staples, for example, sells to both. They sell office supplies to businesses, but they also sell school supplies, especially right now, to students who are going to school. So that's both. Safety gates, again, if you have children that you need to protect so they don't fall down the stairs or something, you buy a safety gate, right? Well, they also have them in daycare centers, which is a business. Pharmaceuticals, same thing. You might buy medication over the counter at one of the drugstores, or you may go to your doctor and they supply the medication through their in-house pharmacy, which is a business. Someone, you know, created the pharmaceuticals and got them to that business to sell to you. Skincare, same deal. Supplements, gym equipment. Gym equipment, you might not think right away that that's both, but let's say you buy a Nordic Track or one of those types of things to use in your home, so that's personal, consumer, or you go to the fitness club down the street and they have a whole lineup of treadmills and that type of thing, so that's the business side of it. So hopefully I'm making it very clear here. And as you can start to maybe imagine, both sides are massive. Companies are, in every category you can think of, are available in both the B2C and B2B market. In essence, commerce is everywhere. Everywhere around the world, wherever somebody is buying something, providing something, that's, you know, commerce. You have to buy food, clothing, the basics. Then you have to buy really fancy equipment or cool new tools for your house. And businesses need to keep up with their manufacturing processes and buy parts and shipping and all that stuff. It's happening everywhere, all around the world. So if you're listening from Australia, well, there's commerce going on in Australia, right? So think of it as local, global. The opportunity is incredible. Just when it comes down to it, every single business needs marketing to sell. They can't just set themselves up and imagine that people will find them or know what they do without some sort of marketing. And here I'm showing examples of coupons and websites and YouTube videos and emails and webinars like ours and newsletters. There are like 75 or more different types of marketing projects today that a company could use. Does everybody have to have a website? Yeah, probably, right? Every company has to have a website, just about. So this is how I want to show you how exciting and how broad the opportunity is for you, because marketing is everywhere. And in order to market themselves, they need copywriting. They need words. They need persuasive language or words that differentiates why they're the best choice. I'll just give you a quick example, like Southwest Airlines. Their whole thing is they don't charge extra for bags, and they don't charge change fees if you have to change your flight date. So they have to tell you that, so you'll like them and choose them. Another airline might have a different thing that makes them better or different. But somebody has to tell the customers that thing, so that takes copywriting. Copywriting is persuasive business writing. It's not just business writing that's formal and a document that explains what the business is. It's persuasive. It's explaining to the customer why the person can't live without it, or why it's so good and valuable and useful and helpful, and it solves the problem. And ultimately, the intent is driving action. So you want to get the person to take a next step. You either want them to make a purchase right then and there, or maybe they're going to download a sample report or something. Maybe they're going to sign up for a newsletter. Maybe they're going to set up a free trial to check out the business. And copywriting includes content too, because in the world of the internet, as it has exploded, one of the things that has brought in more and more new prospects is content, really helpful content. And that content isn't necessarily selling the product, but it's providing helpful tips and pictures and videos and ideas that will kind of build loyalty and awareness from prospects, and then when the prospect's ready to buy, that's when the sales copy really comes in and they make a purchase. So that's the opportunity. It's pretty exciting, and it's very broad. Now, I just want to show you again a couple of examples. So here we have B2C, business to consumer, selling camping tents. Let's say you go online, you're looking for camping tents, so you go into Google and you type in camping tents. Ta-da! You'll search online. You'll see ads like you see here at the top of this screen I have. You might click on that and land on a website. Or you might get to a website from below the ads in the regular search results. Then what does it say on the website? That's important. That will help you make a decision. What does it say in the reviews? Like some of these top results here have reviews like 5 stars, whatever. Well, you want to, people more and more are clicking on those to see what regular, everyday buying customers are saying about the products. And sometimes that may really influence what you decide to buy. You might compare tents. You might go to a website that says top 10 camping tents reviews, and you go and compare. Oh, I want one that's big enough to hold my whole family, or that is weatherproof or easy to set up. You might find a coupon online to save 50% on a certain tent if you're a new customer. And then you might choose a tent and you might place an order. You might do all of that stuff online, and the copy is going to guide you to making the final ultimate decision to buy a specific model. Same thing happens in B2B. So business to business, let's say you work for a company and you're in the accounting department and you're looking for an easier payroll system for your small business. So if you're the marketing or the office manager, you may search online, okay, a best accounting software or best payroll system for small business. You might type that in. And then you'll see an ad again or a website link that's intriguing. You might read reviews again. You might watch a video demo. There are a lot of companies now doing what they call explainer videos that show our accounting system or payroll system is as easy as 1, 2, 3. First, set it up. Next, da-da-da. And so this helps the B2B buyer or decision maker decide which one might be right for their company. There's also maybe a free guide, which is kind of a content approach versus hard selling. Or you may click a link to get a personal consultation. So no matter what approach you may find in your search, somebody had to write the words that guide you there. And that's what we do as copywriters. And that's what we get paid to do, paid very well, in fact. So if you're a copywriter, you can potentially write up to 75 different kinds of projects, and maybe even more that we're not thinking of. But all of those steps I just laid out before you are things that require copywriting. So yay, opportunity is here, and there are more project types than there ever have been. So I'm going to close out this section with the size of the opportunity. U.S. digital marketing spend will near $120 billion by 2021. That's not even, it's so hard to wrap your brain around that. But just think that 70% of small to medium-sized businesses will increase their digital and web-based marketing budgets. That means they need copywriting for all of that marketing stuff online. And basically every single business out there needs copywriting to compete, thrive, and even survive. If your competitor, for example, if you're running a small business and your competitor is on Instagram and doing ads online and putting out direct mail locally and going crazy with lots of copywriting and marketing, you'd better step it up and do that too, or your competitor's going to eat your lunch. So basically, every business to keep up and to thrive now needs marketing, and they need writers who understand how to write the words that sell. So on that note, we're going to go to the next part. Back to Rebecca.
Thank you, Pam. And again, just talking to new writers, a lot of times when people think about, I'm going to make a living as a writer, the two things they think about is I'm going to start a blog or I'm going to write articles. And they enter into the world and they find that that's not easy to start. But really, you can make money doing those things, but the opportunity is so much bigger than what they really understood it to be. So when you think about what Pam was talking about, commerce, anytime money is exchanging hands between people selling stuff and people buying stuff, whether those are businesses or people, that's an opportunity. The industry, I mean, there are millions of potential clients. We're not even, in 20 years, we haven't even scratched the surface of training enough copy and content writers. And every single year, with the introduction of things like social media and all the different platforms and the volume of email and the volume of content that now has to happen and now has to be created, the opportunity has grown exponentially at a speed that we could never even keep up with, even if we wanted to. Every one company that sells one widget could need 50 pieces of content written. And they're not publishers, they're not writers. They're manufacturers of a widget or whatever the thing is that they're selling in their business. That's their goal, right? In order to run a company, in order to own a business, you need to be selling something. There has to be a profit somewhere. And in order to do that nowadays, because of the internet, because of social media, they have to have all of this stuff. They need websites and articles and blogs and optimized content and social media posts and possibly pay-per-click advertising and lead generation, on and on and on. We have 75 different project types that any one company could need all of and multiple versions. We can't send out the same email every single day, right? So if we're going to send a daily email out, we need 365 emails written every single year. So you can see how quickly the demand has increased, and every one company that you take on needs all of those things. So you only really need, in this day and age, a few clients to be very successful as a writer, which leads us to step 2. Now, the first few steps of this blueprint are going to be a little bit more in-depth and intense because they are bigger things that you really have to think about. Now let's understand the size of the opportunity, just how many companies, just how much money is out there. We need to think about ourselves. I'm never afraid to talk about money. I'm a money person. We believe at AWAI that if you are not getting paid for the skills that you have, for the writing talents that you possess, it's a hobby. We are not a hobby company. Most people come to us because they want to make a living. So we want to make sure that at anything that we do at AWAI, we are always thinking about how are you going to make money from this thing that you're learning, from the skill that you're acquiring, from this program that you're purchasing from us, which is why that's part of our AWAI method, is that not only do we teach you the skills, but we also teach you how to make money. With any program that you take, there will be a balance between skill building, and then now that I have this skill of writing a case study, writing a white paper, writing a video script, writing social media posts, whatever it may be, every program will contain a section on how to get clients. Who are the people using this project that I just learned how to write, and how do I land them? How do I price this? That's included in every single thing we do, including this program, this blueprint. So this is an important question. When you're setting out, you know, you're getting in the car, going on a road trip, we need to know where we're going, right? We can't just start driving. We have to have that end game. Where are we hoping to get to? Because that will dictate, or at least impact, the way that we go, the way that we decide to get there. Same thing with your freelance business. I'm not saying there's an end. There's no end zone that you're shooting for, because this is for life. You can do this as long as you want. The opportunity to being a well-paid copywriter or content writer is never ending. The industry will always need words to sell, whether those are spoken or written or anything else. The words still will be there. So this can be your lifelong career. This can be a short-time career. This can be a side career. This can be anything you want it to be, but you should decide that now. What are you shooting for right now? Are you looking for extra cash? I'm going to go into each of these options. So imagine these as potential destinations. This is the first stop on our road trip. Are we looking for extra cash, you know, this mad money? Are you looking to supplement your income, or are you looking to replace your current income with a new career? Are you really looking to make a change and not go to the job that you went to today, but rather change forever? You know, leave this CPA, mechanic, nursing, teaching, whatever it is that you're doing right now, and move on to something new. So let's say you are just looking for extra cash. You're here, and you know what? If I was talking to you one-on-one, you would say, Rebecca, I'm really not looking for anything big change in my life. I just want extra money. when things pop up like a vacation or a car repair or a wedding, I want to have that extra money where these things don't cause me pressure or stress. I want to be able to fit this into my schedule. I'm fairly busy. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I've got a lot of kids at home, or I have a full-time job that I love and I want to keep doing that. I just want to kind of do this on the side, and I don't need it for my basic monthly bills. This is mad money, just so I can have cash in the mattress so that I can do things I want to do when they pop up. So you're going to go for one-time pickup projects, and I'm going to give you a few different project types for each of these buckets, and know that these are all options, and you don't have to pick just one. You can pick lots of them, but you're going to look for pickup projects, meaning there's no long-term commitment for you. It's like meeting a friend for a cup of coffee, right? You're not saying you're going to meet her for coffee every Tuesday. You're just meeting her for coffee next Tuesday. So things like articles, we're going to show you, that's something that you can do. When we talk about any project type, when we talk about articles, we're talking about articles for companies that pay $150 to $400 each. We're not talking about, $2 articles for content farms or a $50 article for a magazine. We're talking about articles that bring in traffic and prospects and leads to businesses who need those prospects and leads to then turn into customers. So articles, no big commitment there. I'll write you an article on a topic, 800, 1,200 words. You give me a check and we walk away, and you'll call me next time you need an article. Something called a site audit. All of the stuff is on our website. I'm going to give you a link in a few minutes, but site audit. Site audit is just going to someone's website and evaluating how good is their content. People love site audits, writers who like checklists. If you're not a big idea person and you just like the idea of having a 20-step checklist and going through, just kind of like the auto mechanic who looks at your car and say, yep, this is good, nope, that's bad, this area needs improvement, those can pay $1,000 to $2,500, and that's it. You hand over the site audit and you walk away. White papers, these are these are documents or research documents that explain how something works. Really big in business to business, technology, things like that. They take a little bit longer to write, about a month to write them, maybe a few weeks, but they pay really well. So it is a person hires you to write a white paper on a specific topic. You do the research, you write the white paper, you turn it in, and that's it. And then you walk away, and if they need another white paper, they'll call, or if you have an idea for one, you will call them. There are also what we call client-less writing opportunities. Now, we're going to cover a lot of topics in this webinar. All of this stuff, we can find more for you on our website, in other webinars, but client-less are writing opportunities where you're just doing it for yourself. You're working for yourself. There are no clients. Money-making websites, writing ebooks, publishing information, being an information publisher, and writing emails. We have a whole webinar on how to make a living as a writer with no clients at all. Great for the spare time because you can work on it when you have time. It can create passive income for you, and you're not having to meet deadlines or answer clients or anything like that. So I highly recommend, actually, Jade or Barb, if you can grab the link for that webinar and post it in the chat, that would be great. But maybe you want to supplement your income. Maybe you're looking for a little bit more. You're making $6,000 a year, and your life would feel a little bit easier if you had an additional $20,000 a year, right? So you're looking to make $10,000, $20,000 extra, and you kind of want a little more consistency. You want to know that every single month you're going to bring in $2,000 more so that you have a little bit more regularity. Maybe you need to pay for a daycare. Now your child is, time to go to daycare, and you want to spend some of that time working, or you have some other passion that requires a regular commitment, martial arts, or you want to start investing in something, making money that you can invest in the stock market, whatever it is, you want to supplement your income. You're willing to commit to certain hours each month. I work 40 hours, I'm willing to give up 10 more hours to make this additional income, and you just want regular income. What we call these are retainer projects, projects where a client pays you every single month to do the exact same thing. So things like blogging. I will pay you $200 for every post that you send in, and I expect 5 posts from you a month, whatever it may be. You'll create an arrangement with your clients for retainers. We have a whole webinar about retainers, and maybe the girls can also post that one in the chat. All the different retainer opportunities. We have another webinar on how to negotiate these things. Newsletters. We all know what a newsletter is. We get a lot of them in our inboxes. You can write those for clients, and you write the newsletter every single month. You send it in. They send you a check for $1,000. It could be a monthly newsletter. It could be a weekly newsletter. Just imagine. 2 clients, 1 newsletter a month, that wouldn't take you that long. That's maybe a full day's work. So if you're working, an extra hour every day, we figure you could at least knock out 2 a month. That's an additional $2,000 for writing 2 newsletters in your spare time. Social media management is another great one. People don't think about social media. They think it's like a technical thing or a useful thing or whatever. No, they need writers. They need people who can communicate with the written word to talk to their prospects, to talk to their customers and engage with them on a regular basis. You can get paid $2,000 as a writer just to manage their accounts and communicate with people who want to communicate with your clients. Or finally, maybe that's supplementing. That's the retainer. That's something that you want on a regular basis. Then finally, there are those of you who want to replace your career. I am tired of being a fill in the blank here, and you're looking for a brand new career. You want a full-time income. You want to be able to, you're willing to invest and learn for the long haul. So like a dentist or a chiropractor or anybody else who's changing careers, you're willing to change your career, learn a new trade. And you want to decide how much to work and when, how you want to earn your money. The beauty of being a writer is that you can take this full-time career anywhere. Full-time can mean anything. Mindy McCourse, who's our editor of Barefoot Writer, who came through AWAI, her full-time schedule is 20 hours a week. That's her idea of full-time. She still makes 6 figures. She decided that's what she's going to do. That's the income level that she wanted. But it gives you this flexibility of having a professional career, although your neighbors might not agree that you are a professional, but because you're home at weird hours, and we have a lot of stories of people checking their mail in the middle of the day and their neighbors thinking that they don't work for a living, but you decide, you have that flexibility. The thing I want to go over with this, though, is when you are thinking about a new career, there are 3 things you want to think about. The first one is how much money you're making now. So you'll write that down. I'm making $40,000, I'm making $75,000, I'm making $80,000, I'm making $150,000, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Write that down. That's the first number that you have to think about. The second thing you have to think about is how much money you need to make. What are the actual bills that you have to pay, right? What is your mortgage? What is your credit card bills, your student loans, things like that? Write that number down on a monthly basis. How much money do you actually need to make? Usually it's different. Hopefully if you are in a situation where you have some money going towards savings every month, or you've been spending money on other things like shopping and going out with friends and things like that where you could tighten up if you need to, write that number down. At the end of the day, the fixed bills, how much do you actually have to make? That's the number that you're going to shoot for to be safe. What other considerations do you have? Are there other things that you need to be saving for? You have a wedding, you're going back to school, whatever is coming. But knowing those numbers, that's going to be the number you're going to shoot for. So that, because remember, you're doing this on the side to start. So if I make $80,000 a year, but my bills are $60,000 a year, and I have to make $60,000, now I can do the math and figure out exactly how much work I need to feel comfortable that I can get before I make the leap and leave my job, my full-time job, and start a writing career. So that's important just to know that this is the real goal. Yes, I make 80, I want to make 100, but I really need to make 60, because once I leave my job, I have 40 more hours that I didn't have before. So just thinking about that and putting those numbers down is very important. All of these careers in copywriting have $100,000 potential, just so you know. You don't have to make $100,000 a year. Nobody's telling you have to do that, but it is an option. We have plenty of doctors and lawyers and people who've left high professional jobs and replaced those salaries with their copywriting careers. But you can be a direct response copy and content writer. You can be an online copywriter and optimization specialist. This is someone who writes web content and things like that that is intended to attract people from the search engines, or as Cam was talking about, business to business. I'm not going to go into detail on all of these things right now because we still have a lot of slides to get through and a lot of other steps, but I want to make sure that you have the idea of this is what I want to make, this is what I need to make, and I know that these things can get me there, so now I need to start researching them and deciding which one is the path for me. So once you have that money goal, you've got your what you need to make and then what you want to make, you develop a plan. We have a great webinar called Creating a Roadmap, and you are basically going to write out your map. I'm at point A, I'm going to point B, here's how I'm going to get there, and once I get to point B, which is my need to make, then I'm going to go to point C, and here's how I'm going to get there. The goal with this, or the intention that you have, is to visualize where you're going and then make a plan to get there. If in order for me to leave my job, let's say, I know that I have to make $8,000 a month as a writer, okay, how am I going to do that? Well, I looked into B2B, that interests me. I know that I can get paid $1,500 to write case studies, and I can make $2,000 a month writing a newsletter. So if I get 2 newsletter clients and I write 3 case studies a month, I'm clear of my goal. I will feel confident in that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a newsletter writer and case study writer. What do I have to do? I need to take a case study program. I have to learn how to write case studies. I have to learn how to write a newsletter. And then I have to go start getting clients. And once I get those clients and I land those 2 clients that give me those assignments, I know I'm safe to leave my job. Therefore, that's my plan. Having a plan like that allows us to be involved in this world, see all the opportunities, but measure them or view them through that lens of, does this keep me on my path or does it take me off my path? Client A is calling me, and yes, it's a cool thing that's a client, but they only want to pay me $200 a month. Do I really want the headache of having a client when I need to make $8,000 a month? I think I'd rather go after clients who have bigger opportunities for me because they don't keep me on my plan to getting to $8,000 a month in the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever it might be. So that's the goal of that roadmap. So watch that webinar, make your roadmap, and then remember, you can change your mind. You know, you're driving along on a route and you find something cool to go stop at or go see, you can always change it. You can make your goal bigger, greater, less than, you know, let's say you get a bonus at work and it shortens up your roadmap because now you don't have to make that goal anymore. It doesn't have to be that long or that high. You can change it. Once you've done the process of creating a roadmap, it becomes very easy. So now that you've done this piece of it, your next steps, now you know about the opportunity, you know how much money you want to make. After you watch that other webinar, you're going to create a plan on how you specifically are going to get there. And now it's time to start exploring the options that will get you there. Now, Pam, is this, this is still me, right? Step 3? Okay.
Yep, that's still you.
Perfect. So you know where we're going. And again, when you get into that roadmap, you'll see the details of how we're going to get from A to B. There's so many ways that you can make a living as a writer, no matter what kind. People hear, oh, direct response copy, that's not me. What's not you? Helping people sell the products and services that they believe in? You know, it's more about the style of writing. Direct response just means I'm getting someone to take an action. And spoiler alert, everything is direct response. Whether you're writing an article, a blog post, an actual sales letter, a video, everything is moving the reader or viewer towards a sale. Even if you never asked for the sale in your writing, but you're writing an article, that article is still moving somebody forward so that when they get to the piece of sales copy, they're ready to buy. They're already there. The best content writers in the world will tell you this. Ann Handley, Brian Clark, the people back in the day who there was a clear divide between content and copy. Now it's all a big blur because copywriters know that they need to move someone towards action, and now content writers know as well. They have to move somebody towards action. So no matter what kind of writing you love, short copy, long copy, doesn't matter, salesy, non-salesy, projects that you write on retainer, remember we talked about retainers, newsletters, social media content, projects that you write for yourself, the money-making website, the client list stuff, projects that are great for journalists. You might, case studies, if you love to investigate and tell stories, case studies are great for you. Projects that are great for storytellers, video sales letters, or the explainer videos that Pam was talking about. No matter what your path is, no matter what style of writing you like, there is half a dozen, if not more, writing opportunities for you. There's the B2C side of things, which Pam talked about, where businesses are selling to consumers. You might decide, I want to be on B2C. I want to talk to the end user. So I might write sales letters, websites, emails, Facebook posts, how-to videos, blog posts, e-newsletters, ads, postcards, catalogs, after 75 different projects that you can write to consumers. Or you might be on the other side, the business-to-business side of things. Again, all the same things plus a whole lot more, plus a whole lot of other projects. There's really no right or wrong answer. It really is about what you enjoy writing. There has never been a better time to be a writer, not only because the industry is so huge and there are so many opportunities, but companies value writers now. Back in the day, it was all about quantity. How many, articles can we get up on our website? And, Google didn't even know. Google was just trying to get, people to the right pages, but they weren't as polished in their algorithm as they are now. Nowadays, it's about quality. It's about writers who understand what Google wants, which is to give people searching Google the best experience. They want to get them to the content that is the best out there. You as writers know how to do that. You know how to write the best. It's not about, again, quantity and junky, cheapy stuff. It's about the best writing that we can put out there to do the job that it's supposed to do. So whether it's B2C or B2B or long or short or salesy or non-salesy, it really doesn't matter. There really is an opportunity for whoever you are, whatever style of writing that you like. My recommendation, if you're brand new to this, and I have thrown out a ton of different words already about different project types, but it's to explore them. Use our catalog as a resource, not just because there are sales letters there that will sell you programs, but because most of our sales letters are 80% research. Everything, if there's a way to make a great living as a writer out there, you can better believe that we have found the best expert on the topic who can also teach it and have written a program on it. 80% of that promo or that sales letter is going to be research. It's going to be who the clients are, how they use, what the projects look like, how long they take to write, how much you can charge for them. It really gives you a good understanding. So if you have no idea what a case study is, go to our catalog, look up case studies, and then read that promo. You won't be fully aware of what the project entails by the time you finish that sales letter. And then you can decide if that's the right opportunity for you. Okay, Pam, back over to you, which is probably the next most important decision they can make.
That's right. Okay. This is one of my favorite things because we actually just got a question from one of the people watching. I've been around the block. I've written about, I know about different things. How do I choose what to write about? Perfect question to ask to set me up for this. Thank you. So with all those different opportunities out there that I showed you, different kinds of companies, different kinds of industries, some selling to consumers, some selling to suppliers, and some even selling to both. You think, oh my gosh, who do I even think about writing for? Well, you could start by thinking about your background, but think about a category of an industry that you really like or have experience with. And you want to find an industry that has a variety of companies, small businesses, medium-sized, large. Ideally, they would sell to consumers, and there would be a whole different group of suppliers. And then look into your niche, your background, or interesting niches that are interesting fields that draw you in, such as the financial world, which means banks, newsletter publishers for investors, software to manage your money, anything like that. Health is another huge one. These are industries that are ongoing. They're not going to die anytime soon, not like buggies from the old days or anything like that. These are evergreen, meaning they're always going to be around. People are always going to be interested in improving their health and all of that, and fitness and all, and yeah. So software is another one. Boy, software is, with the invention of apps, you know, and other online devices that help people manage their day, and online television, and everything is electronic now. Well, it has been for a long time, but it just seems like the acceleration of new inventions and new devices and everything is growing and growing and growing. So that's another really healthy area. Another one is sports. Believe it or not, people, I don't think there's ever been a time where there were so many different kinds of sports, whether you go to a big game or you are a kayak enthusiast, and stand-up paddleboard seems to be one of the newer things. And, you know, it's just crazy wild. There are equine sports and even sports where you're training your dog to do agility programs. It's so wide and broad now that if you said, I want to write for the sports industry, but I have a background as a show horse jumper and rider, then you could write for the equine industry. You could just pick that as your who to write for, and think of all the products and suppliers and events in just the equine sport industry. Wine. Hello, who doesn't like wine? I have a friend who left her corporate job after many years, and now she does wine sailing trips in Maine. So you get on a boat and you learn about wine while you're sailing in the ocean at sunset. It's amazing. That's her life now. You could be a copywriter for the wine industry. And so deciding who you'll write for, it all depends on what you want to do. Think about what kind of buyer you are. So let's say, yes, you were an engineer in your whole career, but you don't necessarily want to write about engineering. Well, you don't have to. Think about something in your life that you're interested in and that you've been a consumer in. Like if you're a new mom, I mentioned all those baby products and learning tools and all these things that they have available now for babies, and safety products and eco-friendly bedding, and oh my gosh, it's a huge category. If you're a retiree, what kinds of things would you buy or you be interested in? Maybe a walking tour of Southern England. I'm just picking things out of my hat, but for what kind of person you are and what interests you personally, there's a niche for it, believe me. Maybe you're going to college or you have an adult child who's going to college. Think about that world and how competitive it is. If you're very, very health conscious and you're interested in alternative health or supplements or alternative modalities and yoga and all that stuff, that's a huge industry. Maybe you're a baby boomer like me. I'm on the young end of the baby boomers, by the way. But there's a whole world out there when we become empty nesters as to what we can do with our lives. And so what are you interested in pursuing that you never were able to? If you're an avid gardener, for example, and now you get to travel the world to garden tours and create master gardening classes, maybe that's something that you write about too. If you're a millennial, there are all kinds of things related to just getting out of college and starting your life in your late 20s and 30s and what that looks like. And if you're a homeowner, maybe you're interested, like I said, in gardening or in antiques or renovating your home or being a house flipper or who knows. I'm just trying to think of, what is the thing that will drive you and excite you every day to get up and write about? Doesn't have to be your past career, even though it would be great if your past career is something that is a really strong niche industry and you would be interested in writing about it. Great. But again, it could be just your personal interest or your lifestyle, what you actually buy and what you consume and the things you're interested in. I'll keep going, but I'm not going to go into each one of these. Basically, you just look at what is your passion. You can make a living writing about things you're passionate about. You really can. As long as it's a really good industry. If you were thinking, for example, we have people who go, well, I'm really passionate about Reiki healing. So I want to help Reiki healing professionals market themselves. Well, I have some unfortunate news. They don't have a lot of money. They're not going to have a lot of money for you. So you need to pick an interest and then find out what kind of companies are in that world that are bigger, that aren't tiny one-person companies that don't have big budgets for you, but are more mid-size or larger companies that would definitely need a writer on an ongoing basis. So these are just some interests that I know are very strong, have huge followings. If you Google and look for Facebook pages on martial arts, just for example, you'll find thousands of them. And if you find an association for boating, you better believe there's more than one boating association, and boating enthusiasts, oh my gosh, think about the products in that world. Not just the boats, but the docks and the lifts and the covers and the engines, and it goes on and on and on. So it's exciting. It can be overwhelming, but if you really think and look in your heart and think, what do I know about that would be easy for me to go and work on a project for? My background is I used to work for a veterinary equipment manufacturer, so I know all about veterinary practices and how they work and what they need every day to treat pets and work with pet owners. So that's easy for me to write about. I don't even have to do a ton of research to write about that. Now, if you ask me to write about fencing, like professional fencers who compete in world championships and that type of thing, I know nothing about fencing. I would be a really not the best choice at all, and I'd have a huge learning curve, which wouldn't thrill the client. So my clients are in the veterinary space, and they're so happy that I know that. Another thing is your experience, job experience, but also where you've gotten expertise, certification, special classes, special levels of knowledge, especially if it's technical, or it's like a lawyer or someone who has to pass the bar, or a CPA has to pass their certified accounting exam, and things like that. You have an expertise that clients in that industry would be jumping up and down about, because boy, let's just take solar panel installer, for example. You've been a solar panel installer and you're sick of that, but you'd be great to write about the solar industry. So your knowledge plus your copywriting skills would make a client in the solar panel industry go, oh, perfect, I don't need to look at any other writers. that's the one for me. So that's why your background, your experience, your interest level really comes into play here when you're thinking about who would I work for. So we have a wonderful free webinar that we did a while ago called Choosing a Profitable Copywriting Niche. And you'll find that on our Inside AWAI page. Here's the link here. When we have the playback, you can click on it, and that will be a live link. And we did another one, too, the #1 fastest way to choose your niche. And both of those are on that Inside AWAI page. Now, you've thought about the opportunity. You've thought about what kind of money you want to make and how you want to work, part-time, full-time. You've thought about who you want to work for. Okay, I want to work in the equine sport industry because I am a barrel racer, jumper, show horse champion. I'm making this up, but that's what I love and I want to do, and I really know it. I really know the language. I know what the customers in that world are concerned about. I know the trends. I know the industry, reputable companies in that industry. That's who I'm going to write for. Now you need to do step 5, get the skills. And if you love to write, you're halfway there. So copywriting is a skill that I can't stress enough. It's so valuable. It'll apply to everything in your life at some point once you know it. So if you want to become a web copywriter in the equine industry, then you want to learn how to write websites, how to write online articles, how to write email copy. Anything that's in digital marketing, which is all those things and more, you want to learn how to write them. And we have programs for that. Some are easy to study in a single weekend. Others take a few months. You will find some programs where you are practicing writing and you're getting feedback. You'll find others that are quite simply so clean and you get it in just a weekend that you can start practicing it with real clients or real projects or even people you know in the industry. And then you never stop learning, but the minute you finish a program or even halfway through, just try it. If you, for example, if you're in the equine sport industry, I just keep using that, but it could be anything. It could be gardening. It could be manufacturing safety. It could be anything. See if you know someone in your past or in your present circle. Connect with them on LinkedIn or just pick up the phone and call them and say, listen, can I practice my copywriting skills on something for your business? And I mean, just get started. Do it. Follow it. And you'll get better and better as time goes by. And if you're working with a small business in general, they're so grateful to have help that they'll be like, oh, yeah, go for it. If you see some things to fix on my website, please let me know. And you're getting the ball rolling. You're getting momentum. And then soon you're going to be able to call one of those bigger companies that manufacture equipment in that industry, and they'll be like, hey, oh my gosh, we have a whole plan for 2019 that is website copy and articles and email campaigns, and we want to start a monthly newsletter. You will be the perfect person to jump in there and get going. So you basically decide, what do I want to learn, and is it worth investing in myself to get the skills to be that writer, that go-to writer in the niche? And we have tons and tons and tons of examples where copywriters have done quite well by following their heart, learning the skills, and working in an industry they love. So that's what I challenge you to do. We have foundation programs for copywriting. The first one is the accelerated program for 6-figure copywriting, and the link is right there. That is our foundation because it goes through everything you need to know to write persuasive copy. And that skill will then apply to anything else that you write, online or in print or in mail or anything. And the secrets of writing high-performance B2B copy, business-to-business copy, is the foundation for that world where you are going to be writing to business decision makers versus consumers buying products. And then the third one that is the foundation is Web Copywriting 2.0, and that's all about writing websites and other online copy. Then to get the skills that go broader than those foundational skills, we have a complete collection of different types of project skill building that you can look through on the catalog and see what you'd like to do. For example, we have SEO, which is search engine optimization, and that is a very valuable skill now for companies and their websites and how they get found by people searching on Google and other search engines. We have also writing prompts that help you practice what you're learning. With the writing prompts, there's a little tip or idea to spark a writing project in you, and they're very short, and you get to just keep practicing your writing, the conversational tone, the smoothness of the flow of the copy, and a call to action at the end saying, reader, now that you've read this, click on this link or go to this page. Now here's the next step. It's about marketing yourself. You've got the skills, you know who you want to work for. How are you going to reach them? We have a bunch of options out there for copywriters, and there's no one perfect answer. We find that copywriters, everyone is different, and the different methods of reaching out to clients could be different for each one of you, as it is for me and everyone else that I know. We each have different strengths and weaknesses. Some of us are introverts, some are extroverts, but some proven methods are LinkedIn. Connecting with colleagues and others on LinkedIn is huge, because LinkedIn really has become an amazing marketing tool for people who want to connect with potential clients in the same industry. And clients are on LinkedIn searching copywriter for the boating industry or the software for fitness club owners industry. I mean, it's that specific. And so if you have a LinkedIn profile with that kind of thing, like I write copy for the equine sport industry, then somebody who's looking for that will find you in LinkedIn. Your own website, of course, is very important because you own that. Like LinkedIn, Facebook, these other social media platforms are great, but they can change the way they work from time to time, as we know. Your website is something you own and you control, so it's really good to have a website. You also want to write, do article writing and blog writing to bring attention to your skills. You can do networking at local events or online. You can even do public speaking like I'm doing right now. You can do cold calling. If you have developed a list of companies you'd love to work for, you can pick up the phone and say, hi, I'm a copywriter. Do you hire freelance copywriters? And if they say yes, you have a lead. If they say no, thank you very much, move on. You can also email companies in the same way. Find out if they hire freelancers. And there are many, many more. And Rebecca, I'm going to have you pick this one up and talk about the resources we have for marketing yourself and wrap it up so that we then have time for questions and answers.
Thank you, Pam. And guys, we flew through the end, so if there are any questions, by all means, post them in the Q&A. I misjudged just a little bit on the length of this webinar. But we have tons. Marketing yourself, like I said at the beginning, everything that we teach you not only is the skill building side, but the business building side. You need to get clients. There are people who have to pay you for these services and skills that you have acquired and invested in and honed. That's part of making money, right? People have to pay us. But we try to demystify it as much as we can. We have tons of webinars on Inside AWAI, just like this. No matter what your personality type, if you are the shyest person in the world, such an introvert, the thought of reaching out to a client terrifies you, don't worry. We have tons of ways that you can market yourself and get clients. The end game for marketing yourself, or the main thing you're looking to do, is to identify a group of your ideal clients, the people that you want to write for. That's why picking a niche is so valuable, because it helps you focus in on that group of people, that industry that you want to write for, and then figure out what types of projects that you want to write, and then connect with those ideal clients, presenting them with the value that you offer. We walk you through the step-by-step in so many of our programs, but there's tons of free content online through Inside AWAI, through our free articles. For those of you who do move on into one of our copywriting programs, we actually have a job board called directresponse.jobs.com. We get emails from clients on a regular basis from companies looking to hire our writers. And instead of just telling them, oh, we recommend so-and-so, because that doesn't feel fair for anybody, we basically got ourselves out of the middle and created this job board. It's free for them to post. It's free for you to use. But that way you can talk to them directly. And that's part of our programs. People looking to hire AWI trained writers can go there. They can post their ads online. And we get so many success stories from both sides, from writers who have found jobs on direct response jobs, and also companies coming back to us saying, thank you so much. I've been trying to find a writer for years, and I found you. So we appreciate the resource. So tons of ways to market yourself. If you get stuck, just know that we're here to answer questions. That is something, you know, anyone in our team is available to help with. So now we have clients. We know what we're doing. We have skills to provide them. We are doing projects. We have to write the project, right? So we're going to use our new skills to write these things. We have a pricing guide that's available on our website. We publish it every single year. That's a picture of the 2017 one, but we did do the 2018 one this year. It's on our website. You can download it. What that is we send it both to writers and to marketers or to companies saying, these are the rates that you should expect to pay. These are the rates you should expect to receive for professional writing services. So it's very useful, but you complete the project. Just some things to remember when you're working with clients, there's always going to be a learning curve. I don't want anyone going out there tomorrow feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to take all these programs before I can actually start working with clients. That's untrue, because even if you spend 5,000 hours taking programs, there's still going to be a learning curve when you're actually doing the work. The best experience you can get is real experience and to actually be working with clients. So be patient with yourself and know that, right? We're all nervous starting out. Stuff that I wrote 10 years ago is horrible by my standards today. Was it good enough back then? Sure, AWI was willing to publish it, so it had to be good enough. It's not good now. I'm a better writer now just because I've done it for so much longer now. So there's a learning curve. So know that the clock doesn't start on the learning curve until you actually start writing. So just go ahead and jump on in. Do your best. You know, if you take any of our programs, we give you the step-by-step how to do the project. So just do your very best. Make sure that the copy or content is the best that you can possibly do. Be a professional at any given turn, from the first meet to the second follow-up, the third follow-up, to the 80th time that you email that client. Be professional. I can't stress that one enough, although I can stress this one more. Meet your deadlines. Marketers and companies are deadline driven. If you say it's going to be, you'll have it in next Thursday, you should have it in Wednesday. You have to meet your deadlines, because copywriters are the first piece of a very long chain of production, from proofreaders and copy editors to other reviewers, critiquers, the marketers, the product owners, the web team, the HTML production, all of the stuff that happens after the copy comes in, and you don't want to put a lot of pressure on your clients by being late. So meet your deadlines. That is one of, I will work with not the best writers because they consistently meet their deadlines and I can count on them, rather than working with the very best copywriters who might not do that, because it causes me so much stress. I'd rather work with people who can meet the deadlines, even if their copying content isn't the best that I could hire somebody else to do. Learn everything you can from experience. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, it doesn't matter. There is always something to be learned. I'm a big believer. I'm a silver lining kind of person. So even when things bad happen, I always take the time to reflect, what did I learn from this experience? Even the best experiences, the big wins. Again, take a step back. Why? Why was that such a good experience? What did I do differently that time that made it feel so darn good? Figure out those things so that you can use it the next time, the next project that you work on. And finally, be rest assured that with millions of potential clients, you can literally mess up your first 10 projects and be just fine. There is no list of bad copywriters circulating on the internet, okay? Unless you are just the worst person in the world and a scammer or something awful, maybe somebody might tell somebody else about that, but there are millions of companies. There's no way that there can be like a blacklist. So if you make a mistake, learn from it and then move on. You know, just don't even worry about that. We have a lot of resources. Again, we wanted this presentation to give you a lot of opportunities to learn and dig deeper. This is the 30,000-foot view blueprint, and now you're going to dig in to see the areas that you need more information on. You're not going to look at all of this stuff. This is not for you to memorize or go through all of it. It's just to give you more resources if you're stuck on one of these steps or just want more. But we have products on working with clients. We've got business templates that you can literally use as your own, from invoices and proposals and all that stuff. If you're like, the business side, I just want to write. I'm a writer. I don't want to run a business. We can take care of that part for you. We have all these templates and things that you can use. And again, tons of free content on our website. Step 8, one of the best steps. The next one's my favorite step, but this one, get paid. People always ask, how do I actually get paid if you've never worked as a freelancer before? You've submitted your draft. You thank the client for the project, and then you let them know you'll be sending an invoice, or you attach it right there. Thank you so much for this project. And by the way, here's what I want to do next for you. They typically will send you a check. Some companies will do direct deposit or wire transfer. Most just want to send you a check. And then some will do PayPal as well. But AWAI is a typical company. You send in an invoice, we cut you a check. But when you're closing out, thank you so much, client, for this opportunity. I'd really love to work with you on your blog. It seems like a lot of areas for opportunity there. Thank you very much, client A, for this case study opportunity. In talking to this client, in talking to this customer who's so satisfied, I was thinking it'd be great if we could do 3 more case studies with similar stories, or 3 other case studies on different topics, right? Always pitch what's next. Don't leave it up to your client to come back to you. You always want to have an idea, so the client can just say, hey, that sounds great, do that. That will be the easiest way for you to keep making a lot of money as a writer. Ask for a testimonial. If they're happy, great. I'd love to use this on my website. Thank you for your kind words. I'd love to use this as a testimonial on my website. Is that okay? And then follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Whenever you close out a project, you don't want to leave it open-ended. You want to always have your next project there. So if they don't say yes right away, pitch something else. Just remember, the best time to ask somebody for something is when they are happy. So if you can make it easy for them to just say yes, God, I loved working with her. I can't wait to work with her again. Oh, she's got this great idea for a new newsletter. Yeah, we should totally do that. Yes, let's do that. So ask somebody for the next sale. We cannot give accounting or legal advice because that's not what we do. That's not our profession, and everybody here is so different as far as their current situations go. So, you know, taxes, business structure, deducting expenses, tracking invoices, all that stuff, definitely talk to a professional service provider about that stuff if you're concerned. We do have a program called Freelance Writing Success that answers a lot of the questions. So we have actually had lawyers and accountants contribute to it. So the general stuff like, should I incorporate and things like that. But if you know somebody or have a professional service provider that you use, we highly recommend that you talk to them. Here is a list of other resources. Again, not meant for you to memorize them or use them all, but if you need them, this is a great resource guide for you. We have a pricing guide on how to price. We show you actually how to price products. So if you like hate the thought of negotiating, or what if the client asks me, wants to pay less? What if the client asks me for something else? What do I do? What if the project was bigger than what I was expecting? That program kind of walks you through all of that. And then we did a webinar a while back on setting up your business. If you have questions about that, there's the link. And finally, my favorite step, step 9, celebrate and repeat. I cannot stress the importance of celebrating. I believe in celebrating everything from not only your big wins, but every step along the way. The minute you take one step on this blueprint, celebrate it. The minute you create your roadmap, and you've defined your money goal and you know how you're going to get there, celebrate it. When you get your first client, your first check, when you raise your fees for the first time, celebrate it. When you beat the control, when you get your first royalty check, celebrate it. Celebrate when you hit the major milestones. Celebrate when you hit the little milestones in between. Celebrate your little butt off, because the celebration parts are the ones that make us, it sticks it to our heart and to our soul, and are the things that get us out of bed on the days where we are doubting ourselves and we're wondering, can we do this? I don't know. Being able to look back and say, hey, look at all that you've accomplished so far. Get your butt out of bed and get your computer. I know you're hitting a little bit of writer's block today, or you're doubting yourself, but gosh darn it, that celebrating felt really good. I want more of that. So think about those things and take the time to take a breath and pat yourself on the back. Job well done. I'm going to celebrate these things, because those are the things, again, when we attach to that stuff, that feeling, that good feeling of celebrating, it reminds us that this is so worth it. We're in control of our lives. We're in control of our financial future, control of the way that we get to be and live and do, and the things that we support every single day of our lives as writers. So celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Closing thoughts just before we wrap this up. People will tell you a whole bunch of different things. We get a lot of questions on this. You do not need a big budget. You don't need a marketing budget. It's not like you're going to have to invest $20,000 to go back to school. You're not going to have to have a $10,000 marketing budget to promote yourself. You don't need an expensive office. You can literally just get started with a laptop and an internet connection. You don't need big equipment. You don't need a college degree. Yes, you'll see ads out there for people looking with, oh, I'd love to have a writer with a journalist background or communications background or a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Arts in marketing. None of that matters. It really just depends on how well you can sell yourself. If you have a good website, if you have a good LinkedIn profile, if you can put together a really good email, there are people who email me. I get emailed by AWAI members daily. And oftentimes someone will be asking me a client's question or a question about their future. And my response sometimes will be, hey, I can tell from this email that you have the ability to string together words in a way that are going to get people to respond to you. Just start getting clients. Stop taking other webinars, books, programs, things like that, and just put yourself out there. You know what you have to do. You have this blueprint. Pick a niche, pick 10 clients, and start reaching out, because from the quality of this email alone that you wrote to me, I have to believe that you know how to communicate and that somebody is going to respond to you. You don't need to have any of that other stuff. You just have to have the ability to communicate. So just know that. You don't have to have prior training. If you don't have any experience, it doesn't matter. You're not going to go out tomorrow and say, hey, I'm brand new, please give me a shot. No. You've been with me before, you've heard this before, but the dentist does not invest time and money in their skill set only to hang up their shingle and say, please let me drill your teeth. You're the first person I've ever actually drilled into. Nobody wants that, right? We don't, but we walk in the front door because we saw the dental practice. It seemed like it was a good practice. We saw their picture in the magazine that they sent to our house. We felt confident. So we walked in and we allowed this person to drill our teeth. We didn't know we were his first client. They don't need to know that either. You don't need to worry about experience. It's just how you are able to put words together and express yourself in a way that makes your clients feel confident in the value that you are going to provide. So what are you going to do next? Takeaways from this webinar. Go through each of these steps to determine your next step. I don't know where you are on the blueprint. Maybe you had no idea about the opportunity. Maybe you were all the way up, you knew the opportunity, you know how much money you want to make, and now you just need to pick your niche. Whatever it is, pick up on that step. If you need more information on that step, we gave you the resources to do that. Invest in yourself, whether it's taking a program or time, like showing up like this, or reading articles, or whatever it is. Make sure that you are constantly investing in you. You are the asset at this point from here on out. You're the commodity that's being sold. So invest in it. Keep it fresh. Keep it sharp. Keep your skills up and going. Write every single day. Learn a skill. Learn how to write a case study, a white paper, whatever it is. Know that if you don't have a skill and a client asks you, hey, Rebecca, I love that you can write emails, but I really need a case study writer. Can you write me a case study? Your response will always be, absolutely I can, and then you'll figure it out. Absolutely I can. I have time on my schedule 3 weeks from now. Great, that works for me, fantastic. We hang up the phone, we go to AWAI, we order the case study program on how to write a case study, we learn how to write a case study, and we turn the work in on time, we meet our deadline, we collect our check. Hey, that was really easy, right? So don't worry, you have like the best safety net with AWAI. We have everything that you could possibly need. So just get out there, start promoting yourself, set up your business, and just keep going. And if you need something, you know we have it, so you don't have to worry about, I've got to learn it all before I get started. And then just keep going and keep growing. If you need help and direction, many of you are already Barefoot Writer members, but Barefoot Writer is our community that will help you. We've got roadmaps. We give you a copywriting quick start guide that gets you up and running with the basics of copywriting, a private Facebook community where you can get your questions answered, as well as learn from other people, get inspiration, get people to, you know, critique your copy or comment on your LinkedIn profile or whatever. You just need people to like give you feedback. Writing can be a very solitary thing, right? I'm here in my home office by myself. Sometimes I need to connect. So the community is great for that. And then monthly advice from experts and working writers. You get ongoing support. If you don't know about Barefoot Writer, there it is. And if you are a Barefoot Writer member and you haven't been using all of the resources, let this be a really good reminder to you that we're here. We're ready to help. So whatever you need, jump on in. This could be you. If you look at our Barefoot Writer covers, we publish a magazine every single month. Every cover is an AWAI member, except for this Banana-Ramo guy up here. We interviewed him as well, but we have all these people are doing all this like really cool stuff, writing from everywhere in the world. And we've been around, that Barefoot Writer magazine has been published for over 7 years now, 7 years of covers of Barefoot Writer members. So we'd love to publish your story. But no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter what path you take, let us help you. We've been around since over 20 years now. It's our 21st year. We understand how to do this. We understand the industry. We understand the roadblocks that you're going to face, the struggles you might face, and more importantly, we know how to get you past them. So reach out, whether it's through the Barefoot Writer Facebook community, whether it's calling our member services team. Somebody gave them a shout out in the QA a little while ago. The nicest people that you'll ever meet from a member services team. Reach out to them, ask them questions. They are informed and helpful, and they care about this company and about you so much and helping you succeed. It's one of our core values at AWAI. Give them a shot. If they don't have the answer, they know how to find it. They know if they need to come to me or Pam or Katie or Nick Osborne or Bob Lai or Clayton Makeries, whoever else. They have the ability to access the people who have the answers for you. Give us a shot. See what question you have, and I would guarantee that we can answer it. So if there's anything that you can do, that we can do to help you be successful, count us in. Inside AWAI, these webinars, these are because of you guys. So whatever you want from us, we have webinars on building your business, on retainers, on client lists, on getting clients. Everything that we do is a result of what you want, what you need at this time. We've been doing this our 3rd year now. So if there's something that we can do, please email me. I'm at askrebecca@awaiionline.com, or actually just at awai.com now. And you can reach out anytime, and we will be happy to put together a webinar or just answer your question. So with that, let's open up for questions if there are any that Pam has not answered in the Q&A.
Yep, we have been answering them feverishly in both the Q&A and chat, and please put your questions in the Q&A now, not chat, so that we'll be sure to see them. And we've been answering away, and there are a couple, though, that we've put in the priority list, if you want to take a look.
Sure, I can do that. Okay, so where in the Barefoot Writer site is the actual roadmap? So this, what we just went over, is a roadmap. There's something called, we're actually revamping the My AWAI member page for Barefoot Writer so you can find everything easier. So much of it has been buried within the magazine issues. So stay tuned for that in the next couple of weeks. But in the meantime, if anybody who is Barefoot Writer, if you'd like to contact member services, they can hook you up with something called the AWAI method. And what that basically is this webinar blown out into steps in a little bit more detail. We actually put 9 different modules together, and that will be helpful as well. But everyone who's Barefoot Writer, stay tuned. We have a new revamp coming that we're very excited about. Latest promotion about dollar deal than $29 a month. So someone getting started, would you advise this or maybe later? So I'm guessing you're talking about, it was either Wealthy Web Writer, or I think it's actually B2B Writing Success if it's this month. So there are 2 different membership sites where we do that dollar offer. One is for Wealthy Web Writer, and so that's everything about writing for the web. Content, social media, websites, anything web related. They're both community-based websites, so that's really what if you're a web writer, being a member of Wealthy Web Writer, the goal is to stay cutting edge so that you don't have to stay up on everything that's changing. We do it for you. Wealthy Web Writer is completely community driven in that you saw an article about the latest search engine optimization technique, ABC, and you want to know more about that. We find somebody who has that expertise to write the article, put up a webinar, et cetera. So that's web specific. If you know you want to be B2B copywriter, then B2B Writing Success, which is the one that has the dollar offer right now, is a great webinar. It's a great community for you. Very similar. It's just that it's B2B focused. So it has specific roadmaps for how to become a B2B copywriter. It has B2B copywriting templates, things like that. Wealthy Web Writer has the same for web, the roadmaps and the templates. How do I write a blog post? How do I write a landing page? There are templates in those. So it really just depends where you are. Even if you're brand new, joining them is great as far as community goes, because again, you have people, like let's say you want to be a B2B copywriter and you're just starting out, you would be surrounding yourself with B2B copywriters. So what better way to become something than to surround yourself with people who are being successful at that thing. So even early on, it can be a good opportunity to join. All right, Linda, I love this. I already see catch-22. I don't even know what the question is, but need to get started getting money coming in and then invest in more programs. Best way to start, especially if you are not interested in doing long sales letters. It's such a hard answer. As far as what path you should take, I really encourage you. There's no fastest way. The fastest way, I guess, would be to learn a project type that is oftentimes in demand without needing anything else. So like newsletters. Newsletters is a great opportunity to get money coming in because it is a retainer style deal and there's nothing else. Now you will be leaving money on the table if you don't learn anything else, because that same company who publishes the newsletter will also need case studies and website copy and content and things like that. So you're going to want to, invest afterward. But if you just need to get money coming in, you just need to learn a project type. So like case studies, something like that. The challenge with that, though, no matter what, is that you never know what somebody's going to need. And so you don't want to go out there just saying, I only write case studies. I only write newsletters. You can do that, and you can be successful. Some people have a lot of success doing that. But it's better to pick a niche and start marketing yourself, reaching out to clients saying, what do you need help with most? I understand your industry. This is why picking a niche where you have experience or an interest is so awesome, because you can talk the talk. I have 10 years of experience installing solar technology panels. What do you need in your marketing? What can I help you with? No matter what they ask you for, that's when you can invest in how to do it, because now you have a client who's about to pay you for something, so you have money that you can pay for a program. So hopefully that helps. Time management questions. I'm actually writing an article on this. Really, again, everybody's situation is so different. I don't know how many hours in the day you have to spend on this. What I will say is the more structured you can be, the better. That's my experience. Don't just wait until you have a feeling that you want to learn something, but put together a schedule. You know, if it's 2 hours a day, if it's every Saturday morning, whatever it is, and be prepared. Every time you sit down at your work block, know what you're working on. I never leave for the day without creating a sticky note that has my top 3 things on it for the next day. If it doesn't fit on the sticky note, I can't guarantee I'm going to get it done. I have a longer list of things I want to do, but my sticky note is there to tell me when I sit down, you are not allowed to go on social media, don't go check your email, don't start messing about trying to figure out what you're going to do for today. Do item number 1. You promised yourself when you left your computer last night that you were going to do that. So whether it's listen to this webinar, whether it's take this program, handwrite the letters in the copywriting program, contact 10 more clients, follow up with 10 more clients, whatever it is, my best advice for time management is setting a specific time that is the same as often as possible, and then being prepared for that time block. Pam, do you have any other advice for time management from your perspective?
Well, yeah, I think we run into people who get overwhelmed and want to take everything, and because it all sounds good, but keep your eye on the prize. Like if you want to become a web copywriter, then try to focus only on that one thing at a time. I'm going to go through the web copywriting program. I'm going to do the assignments and the examples there. I'm going to focus on that, and I'll complete it, and then I'm going to move on to the next thing. Instead of trying to juggle 3 or 4 things at once, that's what I would advise.
Good, and that's where that roadmap comes in handy, having an actual plan of what you need to do every single day. There are some other questions up there, guys, that are being missed. If you can go up, I see one from Lynn and CW. So, Jade, if you can run through really quick, and if there isn't one, if they're not flagged, if you wouldn't mind. Linda wants to know, can you consider doing a badges kind of offering where you just pay per module, say video letters, then pay per program? So she's talking about our badges promotion that we just wrapped yesterday. That overall program is done. It's closed right now because of the enrollment. We have a bunch of reviewers working to shuffle through this next group, but we did have a lot of requests for individual modules. So we are discussing it, so please stand by. The biggest challenge for us is just ensuring that you have the best member experience so that we have enough people in that module that you are trying to take. So whether it's writing for video, whether it's writing content, to make sure that we have quality reviewers in that bucket to make sure, because we wouldn't have control over how many people are going through it. And the reality is you're leaving money on the table if you can't offer the other ones. So I would never take a job just writing ads, for example. I would want to also write the landing page where the ads are linking to. I would want to also write the emails that those people are going to see after they sign up on the landing page. I would also want to write the content that is going to drive people to the ads. I would also want to be able to optimize that content so that I can bring you traffic, because I want to be paid more. And the more of that mindset, the more services that you can offer, the more you understand how everything connects together, the more effective of a writer you will be, the more valuable a writer you will be, and the easier time you will have at making great money as a writer, because then you only need a few clients. You know, not only can I write the ad copy, but I can actually bring people to see the ads. Not only can I bring people to see the ads, I can actually get them to sign up once they click from my ad. Once they click from my ad, I can actually get them to buy from my emails. So being able to do more of the collateral material, which is what Badges is about, it's hard because that's what we know marketers want. That's what we know you're going to need. So even though you want to do them individually, we don't want to set you up in a way that isn't going to be in your best interest too. But we are thinking about it, so stay tuned for that. What else do we have?
Yeah, I think we're good. You've covered the badge thing, and I think that we've caught up on everything as far as I can see.
I see two more, so maybe they just sent them to me. Lynn says, I bought something about B2B a couple years ago and thought I would also get the Barefoot Writer with it, but never received it. Is it a hard copy magazine that comes, or should I be accessing online? Is it an annual subscription? Barefoot Writer it's a club, and it is an annual subscription. It is a magazine also that is delivered digitally every single month. If you just call member services, and I can type that in, it's 866-879-2924. They will be able to make sure that you have access and get that all set up for you. So definitely call them. Is GoDaddy a good place to build a website? GoDaddy is good for buying domains, but that's about it. I wouldn't recommend them to actually build your website for a lot of different reasons that I cover in our website building program. Let me just grab that for you now. I can't find the URL. You guys can grab that for him. And if I search 4 days, there it is. How to build a website in 4 days. We actually just wrapped this series, but we walk you step by step through all of the pieces of building a website. And so for everything from technical decisions like what your domain name is going to be, what your company name is going to be, who you set up for hosting, how do you determine the content on your website, how do you write all of the content, how do you actually get your website up. We recommend using WordPress and going through that, but there are lots of other services out there as well for putting up a website. Ingrid says, I'm so happy getting into badges this time, challenge with Steve's B2B Mastery, and more clients, and now I'll get the right skills. Thank you again for your amazing time to cover so much. Thank you, Ingrid. I'm glad that you got into badges too. And Pam and I look forward to reviewing your copy. All right, guys, I think that's it. So we'll do a last call. If there are any other questions, post them in the Q&A now. I do see some questions in the chat. We did miss these because you need to post them in the Q&A so we see them. Misty, you do not have to have graphic skills. You will literally, and to anyone else who has that question, you will literally just submit the copy. So you'll submit a Word document. Now, can you add some comments in there, like I'd love to see it like this, or an image like that, or have this bolded? Yes, absolutely. And as you become more and more immersed in this world, you're going to find stuff that you like, and you'll tell clients, this is the copy, but I really want to build a website over here. So the more you become immersed in this world, the better. Educational requirements, we went over, there aren't any educational requirements. You're just going to want to be able to, you know, have an understanding of the industry that you're working in and the projects that you're doing. Lower price products, definitely call member services. And we have so many products, guys, from $49 up to $15,000, depending on just how much, you know, if you want full access to everything we've ever produced for life, we have a program for that. But we also have very entry-level products as well, like B2B starter guides and things like that. Just call member services. They will be able to help you. Again, such a helpful team. We have 100 different products, and they know how to do that. Or they know which one would be right for you. How do I email or message you if I have questions? If anyone needs to reach me, I'm at askrebecca@awaionline.com. I'm someone who always catches typos and other errors on websites and written promotions that I receive an email. Is there a program that would be good for me? We actually have one coming out later this year for copy editing. So for people who don't like to actually write the copy, the original copy, but would prefer to strengthen the copy. So to me, proofing is correcting typos. Copy editing is actually revising copy to make it stronger in addition to catching errors. Copy editors make a ton more money. While a proofreader might make, you know, $2 or whatever per page or per word or whatever, copy editors can make hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars even, revising and editing stuff. So those of you who are getting copy skills and you are attaching to the ideas of how to be persuasive, how to write good copy, but you're not necessarily loving the idea of coming up with a big idea and creating from scratch, you might have a great career in copy editing. It's such a valuable skill, and it's needed by every copywriter and company out there as well. And so that might be an opportunity for you. What can I be doing at this stage to earn an income? I am unemployed. learning as much as you can. You know, I'm a big believer in marketing yourself. At the end of the day, it all comes down to, can you land clients? And the best way to land clients is to start trying to land clients. The more lines you drop in the water, the more chances you have for catching a fish. So that's what you want to be focusing on. And I've never believed that anybody isn't ready to get clients. I think you can start getting clients from day one because, again, you can always tell somebody, I don't have time on my schedule right now. Lots of great copywriters don't have time 2 and 3 months from now, if even this year. It's completely acceptable for you to say, I don't have time right now. Tell me about your project, though, and I will get in touch when I have the time. That's the worst-case scenario, right? We will send you a link. So the recording will it'll come out tomorrow. We usually post it by the end of the day, but I'll send you an email with the link to it afterward, and it will have the transcript and slides as well, and that will be up for life. So whether you watch it tomorrow or a week from now or a year from now. Susan says, I just joined recently and you mentioned possibly starting out by working for your company. How do I go about finding ways to apply for this? There is a link on our website about writing for AWAI. If someone can find that and post it under Susan's question, it's like write for AWAI. But really the best way to work for us is to participate in one of our programs. A lot of our programs have spec assignments. For example, people who are going through the badges program right now. We're reviewing all of your copy and we're flagging, our reviewers are flagging the copy that they feel we could actually use right now, and then we'll follow up. Every single person, for like probably 99% of the writers that I use, and I hire dozens every single year, are people who've been through our programs and have submitted copy for review, and we've just contacted them and said, hey, we're interested in working with you. Heather Robson, who manages Wealthy Web Writer, Mindy McCourse, who manages Barefoot Writer, Charlotte Crockett, who manages BB Writing Success, Jen Adams, Professional Writers Alliance, Pam Foster. All of these people went through our programs, submitted copy, and we reached out saying, you know, we're interested in what we're seeing. Another great way is to be involved. You know, get involved in our social media networks, post really good comments, be helpful to your fellow members. We're watching all of that. Steve Maurer runs our LinkedIn group. He never applied for it. We approached him because he was so helpful in our community that we wanted him to represent AWAI. So just being there, that was how he started working for us. So that is definitely the best way to get started. About when will the copy editing course come out, I don't know. We just approved the table of contents. So as fast as we can write it, I'd love to get it out by the end of the year. But I don't, that's the hope. Can I do the badge programs one at a time? You can do them in any order that you want. We have them laid out in the recommended order, but you can approach it however you prefer. How often will you offer the badges program? You know, we don't know. It really depends on how long it takes this group to get through it until our reviewers say, okay, we're good. Right now, you know, 2-3 weeks from now, they're going to be inundated with submissions from the people going through the first few modules, because it really is a hands-on. The idea behind badges is that you're learning the material, you're taking a test that proves that you learned the material, then you're being given an assignment. It's like a simulation with a client. You go through the assignment, you submit it, our reviewers give you feedback, you can revise it, using their feedback, resubmit it. Once the reviewers feel that you have passed, you've passed the test, you've passed the written portion, then they give you the badge, and then you have a badge and a sample. So it's not like we just don't know how long each group is going to take. So I would imagine we'd probably offer it again before the end of the year, but I don't know exactly when or if. Sorry, I can't be more specific. All right, guys, I think that answered all of your questions. But again, if you have any others, I'm available at askrebecca@awaionline.com. Pam, do you have a direct email that people can email? Do we have an Ask Pam yet?
No, I don't. I just have pfoster@awai.com, and I'm happy to take your questions.
We need to get an Ask Pam.
Okay.
So we can be consistent.
No problem.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And Pam, thank you for your contribution today as well.
Super. Happy to be here. Glad
Excellent.
you were here.
All right, everybody. Well, good luck with your blueprint. Thank you guys, the tech group, Barb and Jade and Fran, for helping as well today. If anybody needs anything, we are here. And otherwise, good luck. Get out there and please share with us your stories, especially if you want people to help you celebrate. We are really good at celebrating, and that's our favorite part. So give us the opportunity to celebrate with you. So get on out there, make some great money as a writer, and we look forward to working with and helping you very soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.